superb Thursday to you, and this is welcoming you to the CA Channel's Breakfast Show. You know, I will do it every morning. We'll go through the national dailies, talk about the trending stories, talk about stories from the political scenes, happenings in the country generally. I am glad to be on the show once again this morning. I am Toke Bravo, and thank you for joining us. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll go straight to read the lucky stories that made it to the front pages of our national dailies today. Stay with us. Starting with the Nation newspaper, our 386 were rescued from Sambisa. Troops stay in focus is on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Judges okay end of election petition before inauguration. Moving on, Emir of Kano, Bayero hails Awujale's leadership style. First Lady empowers women in fabric business. This is a welcome idea. And moving on, we have Tinubu in support of autonomy for councils, says Akume. 60 Nigerian students sent out of UK after expulsion from varsity. That's on the page 20 of the Nation newspaper. Forest crisis. BDCs to recapitalize, reapply in CBN reform plan. Apex Bank rejigs operations of foreign currency dealers. Street trading of forex outlawed. So those of you that do street trading of forex, please grab yourself the Nation newspaper to get the story in details. President for Derby's inauguration. That's on page 6. Mohammed is FRSC call Marshal. That's on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the Nation newspaper. Moving on, we have the Guardian. From 9 billion in 2006, abandoned National Library to cost over 200 billion naira. This is something that we should talk about, you know. From 9 billion in 2006, our National Library to cost over 200 billion naira. And Guardian is reporting that this is an abandoned National Library. Does that mean that our culture, our reading culture is going into extinction? Or is it that technology has taken over the use of the library? These are things that we should talk about. CBN reduces duty FX rate 8th time in May as Naira trades above 1,500 to the dollar. Lagos correctional centers overstretched by IDP and the government, says the government. INEC knocks the sex likens council polls to organizations of candidates. First year in office, federal government eyes low-key ceremony gives Tinubu pass mark. Nigerians report. Nigerian giant stocks exports hit $15.2 million, securing 30th place globally. Amokiyari gets bail after 27 months in detention. The fall of an hero, someone who was known to be a straightforward officer, a gallant officer that was respected by all, including the president. That story is deep. But of course, he has been granted 2 weeks bail to observe the mother's funeral. Tinubu Obasanjo seek regional integration to deepen democracy. Federal government says negotiation for minimum wage, not living wage, offers 57,000. Oh, the federal government is negotiating on minimum wage for now, even though they have promised both minimum wage and living wage. But this is saying that they are talking about the minimum wage for now, which is 57,000. And don't forget that the NLC already made it clear that every talk on minimum wage has to end on the 31st of this month. Let's see how it goes and let's see what comes out of it. Moving on to the Daily Trust, the paper you can trust. You see, I just love that line of the Daily Trust newspaper. Norway, Ireland, Spain to recognize Palestinian states May 28th. Why Tinubu's first year anniversary is low-key. That story is coming from the information minister. You can grab the Daily Trust newspaper to read more on why this administration is not celebrating their first year. Zamfara's lawmakers abducted daughters rescued after 17 months. On CNG, no conversion centers in 27 states. High cost. FS crisis, slow adoption. Owners of 15.5 million vehicles in dilemma. Federal government partners are going to reach 774 local governments. The gas compressed cars is what that headline is talking about on the Daily Trust newspaper. Kano government to sign amended Emirates bill as Assembly passes law today. Murik hails hijab victory in Ibadan court. I think by now Nigerians should have gone past this state of what to be, what should not be, what we should do, and what concerning religion. Religion shouldn't be a case in court and all. Jay's bank posts 11 billion naira profit before tax. Aviation College clears air on capacity constraints. And here we go on a break. As we go on this break, when I come back, of course, we will have my special colleague on the set. I am talking about the person of Peace Magege. Let's see how today rolls out with the interesting topics we have. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. for staying here. And I have Peace Magege in the house this morning. Peace, how are you today?
Very fine, Tokia. Good morning. Thank you very, very much for having me once again. It's a lovely time to discuss Nigeria and the stories making the rounds on the national dailies this morning. It's lovely to be here. On my way, please, I want to use this opportunity to beg Nigerians. We need to be patient. Nigerians are always in a hurry. I don't know why. I don't know where that that need for speed, especially if you're living in Lagos State. Everybody's always in a hurry. The place you're going to is not running away.
See, that place I think that word hurry should be the second name of Lagos State, and it's in inhabitants. You know, people don't get to exercise patience, even though it's just half minutes patience. They can't, especially motorists in Lagos State.
Especially motorists.
It's very, very bad. A lot of people has lost their lives because of this singular issue. You'll be wondering where someone is running to, when you can at least wait for 1 minute and spare yourself from being 6 feet below.
Especially if you're going to be driving opposite or against, or you see a heavy duty truck coming your way. There's no harm in letting the truck pass.
In fact, if you are not if you do not think about yourself, think about your passengers that have entrusted their lives and every of their property that is in the vehicle with them to you. You should be calm enough to know that you are likely to be a pilot. A pilot cannot misbehave in the air.
When you're on the road, Lagosians, when you're on the road, it is not a race. You're not looking for who will get to wherever you're getting to first. It's the most important thing is that you get there.
Have you seen people coming out of bends in Lagos State? Do you see the speed?
Yes,
some of them you are coming out of a bend for you to, so that you can slow down. You don't know what is happening on the main road. They will just come out boom with speed, and you'll be wondering why.
The reason why I'm starting with this is because on my way here to the studio there, I saw the very, very tragic accident that happened along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The collision between a heavy-duty truck and a traveling bus. It was sad. It was sad, and I could hear the driver of the bus I was in on my way talking about the accident. It was quite sad. This is a thing that could have been easily avoided if patience was applied. Just wait for the truck to pass. Most of the trucks we see on the road, some of them are not even worthy to be on the road. Some of them
I've had the PRO of the FRS Corps, their PRO on set before, where she said they reorientate, sensitize these people. So I cannot say the government is not doing their own part.
This is not a thing of the government.
No, some people might just say that maybe the government should orientate them. I was of the opinion
the government that wants to come and be driving the cars. It's just like leading a donkey to the river. And
you know that Nigerians who believe that when government brings them to the know of what they have been doing and then maybe put a regulation or a punishment. Do you know that government have to put speed limit on the Third Mainland Bridge after its rehabilitation?
Yes.
You understand? But do you know that there are people that will still do more than themselves on that? We are just who we are. If it's not on our side, we are quick to apportion blames. But once the table turns, you want to claim sense. That's the case with these drivers.
Please, Nigerians,
but whatever it is, just remember that as a driver, there are a lot of people. I might have lost my life in April, or should I say I would have lost my life in April. Nobody could talk to each other in this vehicle. The way it was really, really running the race. At a point in time, I was just saying, God have mercy on me. Nobody. The next thing we heard was that one of the tires flew off while on speed along that Ikorodu road.
And you know one annoying thing about those bus drivers? Sometimes they know that their bus is defective. They would still ply the road. How much are you looking for that day that you have to risk your life and more importantly, the life of your passengers.
We
You know
pray,
your
we
boss is
pray.
defective, you still put it on the road.
We pray that God
And
touches their heart, because
if we're going to be talking about government agencies, we have a lot of government agencies that are supposed to check the roadworthiness of these buses, but because of the 100 naira and 200 naira that they get,
some of them don't check.
they don't check, they just move their
Some
way.
check.
Some check, but some
not
don't.
some don't.
Some even after checking with a 500 naira and a 1,000 naira, you see them, they let you go. But you know that these things, I think if on the side, thank God.
Have you been to
President
Lasma office before?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recently just appointed a new director of the Federal Road Safety Corps. We do hope that will go a long way. We do hope Mohammed, the new boss, will be able to implement some new decisions to help curb this unnecessary and unnecessary and not needed tragic incidents in this country. The country is already bleeding at the moment economically. We don't want to start bleeding physically.
Caleb was talking about a dispatch rider running into a bus this morning
at Magodo. If
the state government comes up with a law now, because I for one, I have witnessed this dispatch riders and their recklessness on the road. If government comes up with one law now, people will say they are taking their jobs away from them. But think about it. Moving on, Daily Independent, national minimum wage. Labour shifts ground, accepts 497,000. Federal government sticks to 54,000. You know, we just read that the federal government said we are not talking about living wage. We are talking about minimum wage.
The Labour government, Labour Congress rather, is the one saying when I'm talking about minimum wage, talk about living wage. And if you're going to be talking about living wage, 54,000 naira, can that even buy a bag of rice?
The federal government promised living wage and
is
minimum.
54,000 naira a living wage?
The federal government promised living wage and minimum wage, right?
Okay,
so
the two separately.
They said that we are not just going to give you a minimum wage. We are giving you a living wage.
Okay.
So even before the talk of this minimum wage, the federal government in their own bid, even though it is not all states that have been up and doing, has been giving out the, what's it called now? Wage award. Okay. And I think that on that side, if the federal government is talking about living wage, or the NLC want the living wage paid outrightly, they can always sit and reach a compromise. I will keep saying that based on what we are going through on our economy and inflation, they should think about that. Because if federal government say, okay, we'll take your 497,000, can Lagos State pay 497,000 for each of its civil servants? Can a state like Zamfara, the rest?
We will discuss all of that.
All of that, of course. Tinubu to attend inauguration of Olubadan President Tinubu to attend inauguration of Shadian President Debi. Sorry about that. APC shifting, threatens to sue Tinubu National Working Committee over subversion of Constitution. Why Benue IDPs may not return to ancestral homes soon. Mothers' burial rights. Abba Kyari gets 50 million bill for 2 weeks. Federal government implementing reform to stabilize economy. Tackle security, hunger. Forget 2027 for now. Tinubu told. If you want to know those, he has told that they should forget about 2027. Then you have to get this Daily Independent to read. Tinubu names Shedu Mohammed as FRSC Marshal. Cross River Assembly Speaker ADVERT Ayamben impeached. And that's all we have on the Daily Independent. Moving on to the
let's
Vanguard
have a look at Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper started with the Europa League final. Lookman's hat trick clinches historic win for Atalanta. Today, the Vanguard economic discourse will be happening, and you'll be seeing the Vice President Kashim Shettima, the CBN Governor Olayemi Kadoso, and Oye, others discuss Nigeria's economy today. Still on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, you can see the minimum wage talks. Labour cuts demand to 497,000 naira. Federal government organized private sector offers 57,000 naira. Yesterday's talks end in stalemate. Uzodinma attends briefly as other governors shun minimum wage talk. You see these governors shunning this minimum wage talk. We will look into that. Let's just continue. On page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper, Edo Guba, Bishop Omede to lead Labour Party's campaign council for Akpata. Currency crisis. UK varsity sends Nigerians packing. Reps query contractors over abandoned projects after 85% payment. You see, sometimes we get to blame the federal government for not, working on constructions, working on projects, completing projects. But we are seeing now that these contractors have abandoned the project after 85% payment. Funnily enough, these reps, House of Reps members, the State National Assembly members, they have companies that are the ones that get these contracts.
Most times it's been awarded to persons that are in government indirectly,
and they are now the ones that still get the same money. They are the ones to allocate the money. They are the ones to get the money. They are the ones not to complete the project. They are still the ones that will now still pass it into the next budget, collect the same money, still just look at the cycle of corruption and financial mismanagement we are having in the country. Obaseki signed 404 billion naira revised 2024 budget into law. EFCC, NBA moved to tackle lawyers aiding criminals to launder illicit funds. Solution to bad governance in Africa is more democracy. That's coming from the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, talking about more democracy. What other democracy do we want to have than the one that we don't have already?
That actually what happened at the African summit they had yesterday, and he was talking about how they can curb countries having coup, military taking over. That everyone in Africa should encourage democracy.
Democracy is a wonderful, wonderful system of government, but look at where democracy. I mean, it feels like even with democracy, people, if you say this, that this is where the government is faulting. If you come out and you say and you speak directly to the government, or you use some sort of language to the government, you'll be charged for violating the peace of the nation. Whereas democracy should give you the opportunity. I mean, take a look at what is happening in other Senate clients that practices democracy. You can't have a sitting, you can't have even a president. Your home can be ransacked if you are being found wanting to some extent. But you take a look at Nigeria, you can't even charge a minister to court. You see all of this and all of that. You get a minister that has been found guilty or some things will still sue somebody that is charging that person to court for violating their own fundamental human rights. But the mismanagement
it still boils down to our constitution. If Nigerians are ready to correct all these things that you have mentioned, I believe that when 85-90% of the country start clamoring for a better review of our constitution, a lot of things will be standardized and we'll forget many of our problems. But the truth is that most times we tend to look elsewhere. Why we forget the main issue? I believe that all these things, once we have a law in place and there are people to obey the law, things will work out fine. But in Nigeria, the citizens want the government to be up and doing, and they want them to obey every law. Why the citizens on their own breaking the little laws that they are supposed to keep? So in Nigeria, everyone is lawless.
If we're talking about the law, well, like you said, we have the law. What we lack is people to implement what's actually on the
You just said that
we've
someone
been hearing a lot of constitutional review. You understand? With all the constitutional review that we've been hearing, I don't think we need more new laws.
If someone was guilty, like you've said, that a person that was guilty, actually that has been confirmed guilty, is going to sue the one who has confirmed him guilty. If he knew under the law that he does not stand a chance, would he even try to accuse someone?
You see, the Nigerian system, it's quite amazing.
Exactly,
to watch
because if you're going to a lawyer, you are just being confirmed confirmed guilty of a crime, and you are going to sue the one who actually alleged or raised an allegation to you, allegation that have been confirmed that you are guilty of. If you know you do not stand a chance, if the law does not open that space for you to sue someone who allegedly sued you or raised some allegations against you and you were found culpable of those crimes, if the law itself does not give you the right to go back and charge that person except on another ground entirely, what I was saying, so it still boils back to the law. Let's and then our lawyers should do nothing that the body cannot do.
The body is there's no point in just trying to say, okay, let me cut off the head and use the body. The smell, the rottenness will affect the entire body. So that is just how it is. So you would not really blame Nigerians, the people, when the people are always pointing out to, the government that, look,
of course,
leadership is by example. You want us to obey the law, you obey the law. You are the ones that are implementing the law. You are the ones using the law for everything, using the constitution and all that. There are millions of Nigerians that have not even used their two eyes to see this constitution that we are talking about. They've not read any section of
the
it.
Constitution.
You understand? But we have those at the helm of affairs, and they are the ones breaking the rule. We have a lot of them. You can't peacefully invite a minister to come and defend a case. The EFCC will go after maybe a former governor, that okay, now you're no longer a governor,
because
we have some allegations against you. No, you are no longer a governor. The immunity clause has passed. You are no longer a governor.
Yes.
The immunity clause has passed. Yes. Come and answer for some things, some issues that we have against you. You will see that governor going to the court to prevent the EFCC from investigating you, from probing you, and you will see the court giving that judgment in the name of fundamental human rights. Come on, when you were in power and you were misappropriating these funds, you did not think about fundamental human rights. Now you're out of power. Come and answer for your crimes. You're calling out for that everybody's breaching your fundamental human rights.
So I believe that people talk about it every day. The implementation of laws, the implementation, putting the law at the forefront of everything we do, because we made this law not just for fun, but to guide our activities and our doings as a nation. But most times, it is only when they want to antagonize someone that they remember to use this law. I am in the know of that. But I'm just saying that whatever country, whatever people has deemed fit to forget, especially when it's their source and ways of life, they will live to regret it. Gone are the days where people believe in culture. Don't fornicate with your brother's wife. There is something that is going to happen to you. People reference culture. People believe in a coexistence. People believe in trust. Our generational name or our family name. Nobody cares about all those things today. You understand? Nobody cares. Everybody is just about achievement. Gone are the days where people will run away from anybody that just brought car to the village, to the city. Nobody knows the source of how he got that money. Everybody would abstain. They would not even want to do anything with that person, because the source of that person's money is not known, is unknown. So nobody trusts that person. Everybody will stay away, and that person at the end of the day might just have a change of heart, because you cannot live life all by yourself. But where we are today, we gloriously celebrate thieves, even if they are not politicians. Look at our what's it called now, our environs. We publicly celebrate yahoo boys, even though we know that they got their money from illegal means. We celebrate them. These are the issues coming up together. Not to talk of the big people who have the highest opportunity to go into this to the treasury bill of the state and take as much as they want. But because we have forgotten who we are, nobody is talking about the truth. If you speak the truth too much, now in Nigeria you become the most hated person, because you are disturbing some people from looting. Your bluntness, your uprightness is disturbing the criminal activities of some people. So how did we get here? So it's not just about the implementation of law. Those people that will implement it, who are they? It still boils down to the public. It still boils down to us. How do we coexist? Who are you? Who am I? I am a CJN. You are a barrister. You are a lawyer. You're coming to defend someone. Who are you? Are you willing to defend the truthful cause? You know your client is very, very guilty of the crime, but you want to use all this because of the money. You open up behind closed doors. Even your clients can tell you that I know I did this thing, but you will come up publicly to defend that person because money is involved. So it has really degenerated from the top to the bottom. But we pray we'll keep talking about it until we get it right.
Keep talking about it. And lastly, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we have spoken a lot on democracy from Mr. President. Finidi to Super Eagles. Nigeria bigger than your club. Alright, grab a copy of the Vanguard newspapers to get details of all the stories and lots more.
And on the Punch newspaper, we have 629 billion naira as Discos generates 1.1 trillion naira. BDC agents reject new CBN licensing guidelines. Tinubu replaces Bill as FRSC boss, appoints Muhammad. And still on the front page of the Punch newspaper, on minimum wage, Labour wants 497,000. Federal government laments paucity of funds. First anniversary. Tinubu directs 47 ministers to showcase scorecards. President plans low-key celebration. Ministers begin sectoral briefing today. So maybe after today's meeting, we will get to see what our ministers have done, right?
We do hope to get good information from them. I mean,
I'm not expecting too much.
Why?
I am not expecting too much
from the ministers.
From these ministers.
Why?
Because we have heard about some few. Maybe there are others that are just achieving on the ground that the media is not fair to. But I just know of the interior ministers.
Interior minister has not done so much. He has done only international passport.
I am just saying
that's not where his jurisdiction ends.
I am talking about where the media is being fair. That's why I don't want to generalize. I'm not expecting much, which means that I am not putting the whole of my mind in it so that I will not be disappointed.
I would not lie. It's okay. I would not. Let's be honest ourselves.
Of course.
In all fairness, taking what the Nigerian people are currently going through, it is quite sad to say that we are not expecting much from our ministers.
Yes.
I would be to be quite honest.
But that does not mean I will keep saying that does not mean that they have not been doing anything at all. See, when you are in inflation, there are other countries that are going through same. It's just that I will keep saying that our way of the way we react to things, the kind of report we give. Go to UK now. So there are videos of people complaining, and this have been happening for like maybe since this time of
how many UK legislators drive SUVs? How many? Wait, I'm going somewhere. Just
okay. Of
how
course.
many UK legislators live lavishly the way our
I don't
own...
live there. You don't
No. We
there
see
either.
these things. No, it's not a matter of...
We can always get the information, the kind of car they use, the grade of that car in their own city.
We see these things. What I'm trying to say is we have ministers that have been in the National Assembly for donkey years.
Of course.
We have ministers that when you hear allegations against them on misappropriation of funds is more than a state's budget. We have ministers that are richer than a state, an entire state.
I'm not putting on this flat.
And yet, we want Nigerians to be accommodating of what is going on. We want Nigerians to be patient. We want Nigerians. Come on, it is taking a look at how far we have gone. We have come rather.
Okay.
We Nigerians. I don't think. If look, I stand on this. If everything is getting expensive in Nigeria, and Nigerians are seeing value for these things that are getting expensive, we would not complain. Nigerians will not complain. Let's be fair to ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. If we are seeing these 24 hours, you don't have power supply, right? Take the transformer, you are getting the light, you're going to be getting 247. If you know that you want to be getting light for 247, this is the amount you're going to be paying. This is we have a base that everybody, as long as your place is developed, as long as you can afford to pay the needed amount of money, you're developed. And because we have places in this country that are not developed, that are still underdeveloped, that electricity has not even gotten to that place. You understand? But where I'm coming at from, when you have a community that is developed, that people are working, people go out and make their money, and then they come back to the house. There's life going on there. If they are going to be getting, you have a base, 20 hours a day, you are going to be receiving light. And if you want to be receiving light for, if you even tell us we can't generate for you 20 hours a day, but you can be getting maybe 15 hours a day. But if you want to be getting up to 20 and 24 hours a day, you have to pay extra. Nigerians will not mind. But the one that you have a discriminating category, because that's what I would call it with no apology. That's the discriminating category of band A, band B, band C. You want to tell me some places are more Nigerian than some other places, or you want to tell me those people, because they can't afford to pay? Really? You can comfortably come and tell me that in this country there are places that they will only get, not like they can't afford more than that, but they will only get 4 hours supply in a day. Yes, that 4 hours supply, they don't get it, but they still pay bills. You want to tell me if a Nigerian that goes out every day to work, he knows that if he is earning 100,000 naira a month, out of that 100,000 naira, maybe in that month he is spending about 20,000 naira on transportation. Nigerians but not the one that somebody is making 100,000 naira a month and his money for transportation is about 80,000 naira. Come on, how does that person survive? And now you're coming out to tell me that a bag of garri is how much now? A bag of rice is how much now? It's over 70,000 naira in the market, and you're coming to tell me minimum wage cannot buy a bag of garri. Minimum wage for a family of 5 that you are proposing, that a family of 5 should survive on less than a bag of garri for a month. That same family will pay rent. That same family will pay house utility bills, light bills, water bills. That same family would dig its own borehole. That same family would still eat, wear clothes, pay school fees, and you're giving them 54,000, 57,000 naira a month in a country where we have how many billions was allocated for parking lots in the National Assembly. Parking lots, car parks. You have 404 million naira budgeted for street lights in an area that does not have light, because the street lights are going to be powered by solar, but the people staying in that community don't have houses powered by solar, don't have houses that can afford, even if they're not getting the light, they are using their own money to buy generators, right? Good. How much is petrol now? Petrol now, from what we are hearing, is going to about 710 naira per liter. Diesel, because of the naira has fallen, Dangote is now going to be selling for 1,100. And we have people living lavishly in government, and you're telling the people that they should tighten up their belts. You're telling the people that they should be patient with you. That you have a plan. Come on. It is easy to say all that, but it's not so easy for people to live through it.
Of course, people will of course complain. We are in inflation, and everybody is aware of that. We have had this conversation on a set before, where someone was saying ministers buy SUV, they do all sorts, but the person was asked the question: if you were a minister and you have this life that you've been living, and these are your rights, you know, in every parastatus, this is not me trying to justify the government now, but we just have, like I usually say, we have to balance it. In your parastatus as a level 17 officer, not just the government, we are always focused on the government. In your parastatus, you are the level 17 officer, and you earn close to 3 million every month. Will you be willing to cut some of your salary just so the country can do better? You are supposed to be an head. As a minister, will you be willing to cut some of your pay? Will you be willing? That's one. Secondly, the person raised another issue that, okay, what if these things were happening in terms of insecurity? And the person again was asked, will you die if you were in the post of a minister? Put your life down for. And he said no, but they are minister and they are at the forefront. They can always die for the people because that's what leaders do. But I am on this table saying that the only time that I will complain bitterly is when a government is not doing at all. I always say on this table that I know they have not been doing enough, because whatever it is that they have been putting in as effort is not enough. One. Secondly, people want to see more results. But I, for one, will not write them off that they are not doing bits or trying their lot, even if it's not enough. And I'll still continue to plead on their behalf that people should be patient. When you see that your government is putting in effort, I cannot talk about the SUV, not because I don't know that they are not supposed to buy SUV. That is our own take as citizens. But if you check from their side, they will tell you about security. They will tell you about kidnappings. They will tell you how they don't even sleep. Did you see the video of Sanwo-Olu almost going agog on a journalist when the journalist raised issues of Stephen Oromoni? Was it Sylvester Oromoni, the boy that died in that boarding school? And then the case of Mohbad. The governor was almost shouting at her that, do you know if I sleep at all? But someone will still criticize him that you know what you're going into when you took up that job. It's easy to apportion blame when it's not on our side. Once the table turns, the story will change. But in other words, they still have to do what they need to do as the head, because that's what they have been chosen to do. But we on our own part should not forget that uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. The only thing that can make it work is when we put hands together. Do you know that the government, even if they are trying, and you as a citizen can be an ex-governor, can be an ex-military head of state, can be anybody who is frustrating efforts. We have heard about cabals. I cannot forget ex-President Goodluck Jonathan that was always crying, cabal, 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 cabal. There are people who have oil plants, or what is it called? They have illegal refineries that is actually going against the work of the government. All these things, who does them? We are still the citizens. That's where I am coming from, that if the government is trying to make things work, some people are still angry because of some monetary policies that the government has made. There is nothing, even some citizens does not like it. That, like, my brother wants to send me dollar and I cannot get dollar because they are trying to cut the use of dollar in the system, so that we will not have to deal with the problem of dollar all the time. But so people don't like it. These are the measures that government can take bit by bit and cut it down. What can we do as citizens? Whatever I am doing as a citizen, and I know it's going against the flow and the effort of the government. Let me put it down. That's what I've been clamoring on about on this table. We are journalists. We go out every day. We see from the side of the government. We see from the side of the people. If we do not come to reach an agreement, it's a lie. We can't get anywhere. Because once the government keeps doing their own effort, and there are Jupiters in a corner trying to sabotage this, we will still not get results. These are the, and it still boils down to the government anyways, because if you know all these people and you cannot take them and make sure that they are being dealt with, but who will deal with people that are considered to be cabals? This system has been built in a way that people get too much power and no one can undo them. Moving on the Punch newspaper, federal government canvasses regional military force to counter coup threats. Rep once seized property converted to government offices. Guest dies during birthday celebration. Host held. This is serious. So it's on the page 4 of the Punch newspaper. On forest, 200 BDCs operators arrested. EFCC alleges fraud. This is what we're talking about. And this is all that we have on the paper review segment this morning. I am Toke Bravo. We are still here on the show. We have a lot of stories for you. The minimum wage, every other thing that has been trending on the political scene. Go nowhere. We are still here. staying tuned. This is CA Channel's Breakfast Show. CA Channel's Breakfast Show on 614 Moplex Cable TV. And you can also watch on our Facebook handle at CAC TV. You can also watch on YouTube TV as well as handle on YouTube. You can get to watch live. We've been talking about the stories on the front pages of the newspaper. Right now we want to talk about the minimum wage saga. The National Labour Congress is talking about 497,000. Formerly it was 615,000. Now they have actually reduced the price to 497,000. But the government is insisting 54,000. So people are reporting 54,000, 57,000. The organized private sector is on 57,000.
No, actually, the federal government, you know, in their last meeting yesterday, in their meeting on Tuesday, in their meeting on Monday, it was 48,000.
48,000.
In their meeting on Tuesday, it was increased to 54,000. And in their meeting yesterday, they added 3,000
to make it 57,000.
And Labour is saying we are not going to be taking anything
less than 497,000.
Which, according to the Labour Congress, from their own calculations, they said for a family of 5 or 6 that would pay rent, that would buy clothes, that would buy food, that would pay for transportation, that would take care of a home, a father, a mother, and children, taking into consideration the cost of things presently in the country, 497,000 from 615 is what they have done their own calculations by. If you ask me, the federal government, from 48 to 54 to 57, how are you making these calculations? At least let us see a working theory. We know that, okay, for the Labour, they say they have their own working theory, they have made their own calculations. We understand where their own is coming from according to what they are saying. The federal government is only it's just recently in the papers which we read, they are just lamenting that they don't have enough money. That's what they are saying. They don't have enough money to pay the new 497. That what they have money to pay is 57.
Okay, let's take from this angle. Do you think that, you know, when whatever is set as a minimum wage is worth the private sector and the state to work with? Do you think eventually if the federal government agrees to pay 497,000, do you think the private sectors can meet up, at least let's say pay 250, 300 thereabout for their staffs?
Okay, I will answer the question. Since you're asking me personally, I will answer the question like this. I think the Labour Congress priority, just like the federal government's priority, is misplaced. Yes, is misplaced. I think aside from the Labour demanding new wage, a new living wage, I think they should also demand for a productive economy. Yes, because it's not, you've said it, your question is valid. Your question is valid. Let's be fair to also the private sector. I mean, if the private sector has as much money as the federal government does, they would not be clamoring for 54, because they are saying what we can do is 54. Federal government, Nigerian Labour Congress, Trade Union Congress, I don't know about you guys, but for us, what we can do is 54. Taking into the productivity level we are as a nation.
And considering the fact that we are actually going through the seasons of inflation.
Exactly.
Where
I think
everyone is managing to even survive in business.
I feel the reason why Labour is hammering on this huge amount for a living wage, which according to them, like I said earlier, is well calculated for a family of 5 to 6. I think it's because they are seeing where money is actually going into. And it is not where money is actually going into presently. We are seeing these things. We are seeing the spendings. We are seeing the expenditures. We are seeing the monies that they are, lavishing here and there, and using on things here and there. So if you are seeing a government that is budgeting millions and billions for street lights and cars, okay, now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has told ministries, departments and agencies to get rid of their petrol-fueled cars to accommodate CNG buses,
CNG buses.
all those budgets for cars, for ministries and all those will not be placed. Those monies will be placed into new budgets, and monies will be allocated. So if we are getting monies to do all these things, why are we not getting them? So a civil servant would drive to the office or would ride to the office in a new CNG powered bus that millions and billions were spent on, but yes, that civil servant cannot afford a bag of Gary.
Do you know this
a
minimum
month.
wage works?
Enlighten us, please.
Not to you. See, this 54,000
Okay.
is going to be added. Let's just take that. Okay, if the NLC and the federal government and the OPS, the organized private sector, comes together to reach a consensus that okay, let's go by maybe 100,000 or a 150 thereabout. The 150 is for a level 1 civil servant.
Is there anything wrong with a level 1 civil
Let
servant?
me finish. Let me finish.
Please.
It will now run in multiples of that 150 for the person based on their level and steps. You understand? So when you start calculating that, what can a 54,000 do? The federal government is not seeing it from that aspect. They are seeing it like they are increasing the money that they are already paying. It's not like they are giving you a single 54k. Can you understand it now that we are not just paying you 54? You already have something, but when this 54 is added to your current salary based on your level and so people might just end up getting 600,000, getting 700,000. Where I think the Nigeria Labour Congress should come in is think about these levels. And what is this level what is obtainable to this level, what's obtainable to this, and then check that okay, eventually what amount can be added to what these levels are having right now, to each level, what amount can be added to give them a reasonable life. Because I cannot lie to you, it's just like I am the president, I am working my body and everything out to make sure that inflation, we are out of inflation, and then you are giving me a price of 497,000, which I know that there are level 14, level 12 officers who are already earning over a 300,000, over a 200,000. So if you calculate that 54,000, I'm just saying, which I know that is not acceptable anyway, because at the end of the day I am expecting at least nothing less than 100 and a 150. Just let's see how it goes. You understand? That's my own expectation, that if it's been added to this money, at the end of the day, this 54,000 can take someone on level 3 to maybe a 200,000 or a 150,000. That's what the government is saying. I think the Labour Congress also should go back to their table now, start talking from the aspect of levels, not the aspect of the commodities in the market, because there are monies in the system already. People are being paid already. This money is just to augment so that they can step up to the current inflation level. You understand? If they don't want to do this conversation will take too much time.
See, this what you just said now, you know, I would really be appreciative if someone would just listen to you right now and make you a spokesperson for the federal government.
That's how you
because,
see it.
No. The reason why I'm saying is because when you hear it from this angle that you have presented, you know that okay, this is how it is. You know, like you made mention, which I agree on. Let's look at each level. Let's look at how much they are making at the moment, and then let's make our calculations and adjustments based on each level. But this is where I'm coming at. If we don't have a bar, if we don't have a foundation, if we don't have a base point, we will not be able to grow.
Of course.
You get? So we need to know that okay, basically, if you are on level 1, this is the amount you're going to be making. So this is the amount you earn, right? In a month, this amount of money that you're making, if you have a family and you are in level 1, this amount you're making should be able to cater for you and your family. You get. Aside from all of that, one thing that we are also not looking at is the value of this amount that they are calling.
Of course.
Because this 57,000 naira now that we are looking at, that we are thinking is one big money, that maybe, I don't know, the federal government is saying, oh, it's one big money, or you're saying if level 1 is making this, level 17 and all that. If you take that 57,000 naira now to the market, it's okay. To be frank, how many things will come back home with you?
That's what I'm saying. That
for
people,
a family,
people who are in the know.
This is what I think. Like I said earlier, is the federal government is coming out to say, they are lamenting positively, saying that we don't have that much money to pay the amounts that you people have proposed. We don't have that much money to pay. You don't have that much money to pay, but you have money. You have money to do other things. There was something that somebody said this morning, that how are we even sure the 90 billion naira that was used to subsidize Hajj, the pilgrimage, how are we sure it was actually used to subsidize Hajj? Because we can hear the federal government just come out to tell us that this amount of money
has been used. Oh, okay.
Whereas
who is to confirm it?
Who confirmed? How many people? We had people that came and said, okay, well, this is my 1 billion.
No. Usually they support people going on the
They
pilgrimage, go Jerusalem and that. But the amount that has been,
let's be frank.
Who wants to confirm it?
You can subsidize Hajj with 90. Let's calculate it. If we are going to be fair, in a month, calculate all the money that you pay to a civil servant in a particular ministry. Is it up to 90 billion? How many people are going for the Hajj? You understand?
And they might actually argue that Hajj is just once a time, and if minimum wage is every month.
That's why you're using 90 billion once. They are spending 90 billion just once.
Politicians will always be politicians.
If you have 200 persons going for that Hajj, I am very sure you have over 100 that can sponsor. That
they were able to reach a consensus on can be effected without the public knowing. Is it possible? It's not possible. It's not possible. Eventually, once this money is being implemented, the inflation will come.
So what the federal government is saying at the moment now is, for the minimum wage, Nigerians should be ready. That's for a level 1. Someone at level 1 should be ready to earn less than $100 in a month.
You cannot
because
calculate.
$100. No. Let's use no. Exchange rate affects it. It affects everything. Nigeria is a dollarized economy.
I know.
So we can't calculate like that.
The federal government will not calculate on that basis. You understand?
This is where I'm going at because I am looking at this from someone that will get that. Someone that will get that exact amount and now go to the market. Or someone that will get that kind of amount that to take care of a family
in a month. Anything at all.
In a month, that means you're going to be making less, because if it's $100, you say okay, the benchmark is $100. Let's just say $100. That is the market now. $100 is about over 100,000 naira. So a minimum wage, the living wage right now I don't think it should be less than $100. In fact, people that are earning 150,000 naira presently are finding it difficult.
Very.
I find it difficult to keep up.
Very.
150,000 is
I still believe that there is always a point where they will meet. Like I usually say, there will always be a point where for me, the 497,000 is nothing. Because I know it won't sell. The labor know it will not sell. Just calm down. You know that this money will not sell. Basically because the federal government is complaining about money.
Federal government should not be complaining about money.
That's your take.
I will be quite.
That's your take.
It's quite sad that we are saying the federal government is complaining that they don't have money, whereas we are seeing
it is your take.
It's not my take. It's in the news. We are seeing unnecessary spendings. We are seeing irrelevant spending.
Do you know that these things you call irrelevant, there are people who this thing are awarded to and they merit it. Do you know? See, it's just about when you go do your research. I am not saying there might be budget padding and allocation padding and all, but some people are genuinely supposed to have those things because they merit it.
When you say merit, when you use that word merit, I get that a laborer is worthy of their wage. But don't you also think the Nigerian Labour Congress also merit? In fact, not just the Nigerian. No, I'm not talking about the Nigerian Labour Congress now. I'm talking about the Nigerian workforce.
Yeah.
Don't they merit to have not a minimum wage,
a living wage,
something that would, because let's be frank, the government, those at the helms of affairs, those are politicians, they are not the ones running the economy. We the people, the masses, they are the ones in the economy. They are the economy. You just make your economic policies and it affects the poor man, it affects the average Nigerian, and you make your economic policies and you expect the average Nigerian to just sit down and fold their arms.
Have you talked to one or two civil servants that what's your take concerning
even civil servants themselves are lamenting that, because they are lamenting that the money is not enough.
Which of the money?
The minimum wage that they are currently
are they in support of the 497,000 labor is proposing?
Who will not be in support of a good living
now
wage?
Can I just
please? Yes.
Even some civil servants, most civil servants knows, and they will tell you, they might not talk on camera.
Of course, civil servants.
They will tell you that this money that Labour is proposing is not, even Labour themselves know that they can't get it, but they know that if they don't hold the federal government by the neck, they will not give them something tangible.
Why do we have to hold? Why? Yeah. I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but it's quite sad that, in fact, that statement, I find it sad. Let me just put it that way. Because this is why do we have to hold the federal government by the jugular before they do something for the people?
Don't put it that way. No. I will not support that. No.
This is why do we have to? Because when it's time,
the federal government.
When it's time for the federal government to do something that pleases them,
please hold on.
They are fast to do it.
No. On that point, this administration made mention of minimum wage earlier enough that the way these things are going, people already started complaining.
Nigerian Labour Congress are the ones that started it.
Hold on.
They didn't wait for the federal government.
Hold on. They already know. Everybody in Nigeria knows that once there is inflation, there was an increase in minimum wage was increased in 2019 to 30,000 naira.
No, it's meant to increase every 5 years.
Every 5 years.
That's in the
every 5 years. But is it up to 5 years now?
Yes.
And if they are going to increase it, it should be a discussion, right? Even if whatever, because of the situation of the country, you cannot just say the people wants to juggle them by the neck. When I said that the Labour has to hold the federal government by the neck, it's just that I know that you are not going to give me what I want just by mere talk, and I will also want to play around. So when government is saying 54,000, they could have just said 150,000, 100,000.
The situation the same way.
They would not. No.
Why?
We had a conversation.
Why
Wait, please. We had a conversation behind scenes that federal government knows that if they just go straight to 100,000, Labour will say, oh, you can give 100,000. That means there is 200,000 somewhere, and they will start arguing again. When they meet at the middle, this is 54, you are talking 400. At the end of the day, somebody will force something and they will meet at the middle. The point is that there are people who need this money, and it is a must for them to do it. I would say that the federal government should not be too harsh on giving the price, and the Labour Congress should not be too greedy. Let me use the word now. Permit me to use the word. To forget that we are going through a process of inflation in the country. I am just looking after everybody. I love civil servants. I have civil servants in my family. In fact, there are people that when their salary increase, my pocket money will increase. Of course. So I am not supporting the federal government. I am not against the NLC. What I'm saying is that there are people waiting for this money. The better they reach the agreement on time, the better for everyone. At least this money can be processed, because by the time federal government puts an amount out there with the agreement with NLC,
there are states that will still take about 2 to 3, 4 months before this money is paid. So this is a serious business, and that is where I am coming at that. Okay, this thing is something that you should just reach an agreement. The federal government say 495,000, 497,000 they can't pay. You Labour say you cannot take 54. Can somebody just answer the question, Labour, what do you want?
They've said what they want.
This is not what we cannot pay this. Okay, now let them come back to the drawing table.
Let's use a husband and wife analogy.
All right.
A wife going to the market analogy. A wife that wants to go to the market now and she wants to cook a good meal. And the husband calls by my wife, I needed to go to the market. I want to eat a good meal, a rich meal. And the woman says, after making her calculations based on the current cost of things at the market, and she comes and says, okay, to make a good meal, let's do 20,000. Just say, let's do 20,000. And the husband says, 20,000. No, I'm going to give you 5,000. And the woman says, I know that I want to eat a good meal. Do you want me to give you a 5,000 naira meal?
Of course.
Or you want me to give you a 20,000 naira, a good meal? If you want to eat a good meal, and the man says, okay, how did you get about 20,000 naira? And then she brings her list, and he sees all these things. What would he do if he doesn't have that 20,000 naira? What's the best thing to do?
He will remove some items.
Okay, remove this for more. I don't want this for more. Right? So the one he can afford, right?
Oh my
This
goodness.
is why I'm bringing. That's just on the light note, but this is why I'm bringing this. The Labour has come out to say, from our calculations, this is the amount that I think a family can survive on. The federal government itself
should come with something.
They know fully well, because let's be frank, even the person speaking on behalf of the federal government knows fully well that money that they are proposing will not. So they should, like you said, we should just have come to a compromise, right? And just meet at the middle, from where we favor everybody.
At least if they are going to do 250.
This is
whatever.
what I'm saying.
They should just do it already and rest.
The federal government, do you know why I'm always hammering on the federal government? Because the federal government has more leverage.
Yeah.
They are the ones that will pay. They are the ones that have the money. They are the ones in charge of the economy. They are the ones that can determine whether the Nigerian Labour Congress are going to go on their strike in the next few days or not. They're the ones that are leading the people.
I believe that they will, of course, reach an agreement.
Of course, they will reach an agreement.
We can't afford to ask strike again.
As the big brother here in this husband, in fact, as the head of the family in this husband now, because that's what I'm saying. It's just a husband and wife matter. The NLC, the TUC, and it's just a husband and wife. It's just a husband and wife argument. They should just come to a conclusion. Let's come together, okay? Because I don't. If it is like the Labour said earlier on Tuesday. It is an insult to the efforts and the time and the commitment and the energy of the workers. We have. Let's be frank. We have a lot of pensioners. Recently, we saw the CBN came out to debunk it, though, that about 20 trillion naira was going to be taken out of the pension funds for infrastructural investments. But CBN came out and said that that's not true. If you have about 20 trillion naira inside pension funds, why do we still have pensioners that are complaining that they are not receiving their money? I'm not saying that we don't have state governments that are not paying.
Exactly.
I'm not saying we don't have federal government, but we are still have a lot of people that are coming out to say.
Because I was going to raise that.
We still have a lot of people that are coming out to say that they are not getting it, they are not paying, they are not seeing their own.
States also.
Why is it that talking about the states now on this federal government, one thing that is really appalling to me is that state governors are not attending these meetings. It is just the one yesterday that Hope Uzodinma, Imo State Governor, he breathed in. He just breathed in and breathed out.
Breathed in, breathed out.
We have governors that are meant to be there and not attending. But they would never, these governors would never miss their sitting in Abuja to collect their allocation, their monthly allocation.
Oh, my God.
They will never miss it. They will never miss money for the security votes. They'll say it's for security. It's for their security.
Do you miss your salary? The day of sharing of salary, do you miss it? We
You
are
and I
going
know,
on
you
a
and I
break.
know that there are many companies that are owing salaries.
Of course.
There are many companies that are owing salaries.
Of course, but if you are being asked to come, you miss it. So you have to go
See,
and get the
of
allocation.
course, that's why NLC is holding the federal government by the jugular. Pay this money, you have it. If you say you don't have it, why don't you have it? Because we lack productivity.
Exactly.
Yes, then work on the productivity.
Which cannot be done in one week and then get results.
If we are seeing, I think one of the issues of people is one thing that government in general lacks is transparency. A lot of things are shrouded in secrecy.
Yeah.
So you will not blame Nigerians when they come out to say we are not seeing what you're doing.
Of course.
If you do we'll be seeing ministers, federal ministers coming out to brief the media on what they've done so far in the last 1 year. We will see all of that. We'll talk about it. Now we will see what they have done.
What they have actually done.
So it will look as if
I already told you that
Nigerians are expecting too much, or Nigerians are talking too much, or Nigerians are quarreling too much, or Nigerians are complaining too much.
Thank you for staying tuned. We'll go on a short break. We have some stories more for you. Don't go anywhere. Pages, see ACTV on Facebook and also on YouTube. Share with your friends, leave us some comments. We'll be glad to give you a feedback. And for sponsorship and advert placement, do also send us a message on these handles. My name is Toke. I'll see you tomorrow by God's grace.
And my name is Peace Ufoma Magige. Tomorrow is another lovely day to discuss Nigeria, and we'll be focusing more on entertainment tomorrow. So you want to stick around so you know what happens on the entertainment scene right here in your beloved country, Nigeria. Have a peaceful day.
It's a bye-bye from us.